AI was always going to change people's jobs and unfortunately remove some people's jobs. But things are about to get even more extreme and a lot faster. So, if you hadn't seen, there's a new generation of work AIs coming out. So, Manus is the first of these to be launched. It's still in beta preview, so you can't go and play with it just yet, but some people are already building very similar things. So it's only a matter of weeks before this becomes, much more commercially available. So Alibaba teamed up with Manus because there was a waiting list of millions of people on Manus. So basically, what Manus does is it can navigate your computer in the same way you can. It can move the mouse, it can access your bank account, it can deploy code, it can read your emails, it can build a website, it can do a task from A to Z. And this is new. This is something that all of the big tech firms have been aiming towards. It was this smallish Chinese company that's done it first. And of course, once one person does it, all of the others have to follow. So basically, what does this look like? So before Manus, if you're using something like GPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever, the way you'd interact with it is the person would say one thing to it, it would reply something based on that, you would say something else to it, and you go back and forth. And so every single little step of the way, you're reviewing something, and then it'll eventually give you the final piece of work that you do something with. So it speeds up productivity, often 2, 3, 10 times faster, but it involves intense step by step human interaction. Now, if you give something to an AI, an agentic AI like Manus, one of these super agents, it's much simpler. You just give it the task and it does it. There's basically, it'll do it A to Z, 0 to 100, without the need for human involvement. So, because it can do things as well as think, that's as simple as that. Now, obviously, you can imagine the effect this is going to have on a lot of processes, but also people's jobs. So before, you obviously had to do everything manually yourself. In the first age of AI, you had to be very involved at every single step. In the second age of agentic AI, you just give it the task and it does it. So if that task was the entirety of someone's job, or a combination of tasks is the entirety of someone's job, then, well, they aren't going to have a job necessarily. But handing over something in one jump is quite different from reviewing every single stage of it. So before, you had a bit of an easier management job because remember, managing an AI is very similar to managing a staff. It replaces that kind of role one for one. So people who have good human management skills tend to be good at AI. And it's, if you think about working with a person, if you give the person a bit of the explanation and then they do a bit of the work, they come back to you with that work, you review it, and you go back and forth many times. That's easier as a manager. But here with Manus, you're not doing a step by step review. So if you had to give such clear instructions to a person to be able to do the job A to Z, so instead of dealing with a junior staff member, you're dealing with a very competent manager, you would have to be a much more senior manager to do the whole thing. You'd have to be able to visualize the whole project in one go. So it's not a more technically difficult skill, it's much more complex management skill. So the kind of person who would be good at something like a GPT would be someone who's got supervisory management level skills. Someone who's going to be good at Manus is going to be more like director level. So not everyone's going to be able to do this. The technology is amazing, but it's also quite challenging, not technologically, but in terms of how you'd give it instructions to do something. Not everyone's going to be able to do this. So again, it will unfortunately thin out the workforce a bit. But on the flip side, for more senior people who can use something like Manus, and these are typically going to be people with existing senior management skills, they will, of course, have a lot of advantages in work. So, unfortunately, the world going forward is a little less equal as the AIs get more powerful. But this hopefully gives you a bit of an idea about how that dynamic works between the new technology and people's jobs overall.